Hello everybody, we're back with the restoration of this National Radio SW-54. In the last video we were removing all the electrolytic capacitors, paper capacitors. That's been completed, and you can see all those little yellow caps replace the paper caps. And on this side you can see we have some electrolytic filter caps in the power supply section of this radio. So I did go ahead and tune up the IFs. They tuned up nicely. Tuned up the front end and set the oscillator to calibrate. I wanted to give you a little tour of this radio here. First of all, if you've ever restored one of these, you'll probably find out in the antenna section there's a couple of extra capacitors. And I noted somebody said that in another video. And if you look at the schematic right here, I added those capacitors in, and you can see there are 2.002 at 600 volts, and then there's one here and one here. And what they're basically doing, they're being switched across each one of these coils as you go to band A, B, C, and D. So they're across this coil, and I have a feeling what they were doing is trying to isolate the antenna from detuning this circuit. And of course, it does have an effect when you touch the antenna. You can it does have the effect of changing the frequency slightly. So I think they added those to minimize that effect. There's an AM radio station on 1520.
Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-711-6818.
Okay, yeah, you're putting a beautiful signal in out here. I'm running the KW and the 3 orbit FIR being fed by an icon. The KW1 linear, over.
You see, it's really sensitive to frequency changes on band D. So, very sensitive on the controls.
You've been so good to me as a man of God, and God is going to bless you with a child. And she gave birth to a fine, he grew to be about 12 years of age, and that...
Okay, some points I'd like to make about this radio. If you ever decide to refurbish a radio like this, or pretty much any radio, this is a speaker out of a donor radio that I received. You know, it's all chewed up. It's because these radios have the speaker on the side. It's really easy to get your fingers in these when you're flipping this radio on one side or the other. So I recommend that you protect your speaker no matter what kind of radio you have. It's at the front or in the sides. And I usually use one of these covers, and I wire it actually to the speaker holes, the mounting holes, so there's no chance of damaging that speaker. But as you can see, somebody damaged this one, and they actually used epoxy. You see epoxy all over here to do the repair. I don't recommend you use epoxy because epoxy's hard, and if you get too much of it on there, you're going to lose the quality of the reproduction of this speaker. So I recommend you use something like paper glue, and you just use a little bit of tiny paper glue if you do happen to get a tear in the speaker. This is Elmer's, and it works really, really good, and you don't get that heavy, thick buildup using a glue that is like a 2-part epoxy coat. So try to stay away from that and protect your speaker. The tuning indicator window, I replaced that, and I found something that's pretty nice to use. This is from, I I guess it's an Icona Bay. I got it on eBay. And what is this? It's kind of a clear plastic sheet of polyethylene. And it's about as thick as the original. And where do I have the original? Right here. So here's the original. You see, it's been sun damaged over the years. And this was just not acceptable. So I just took a piece of this plastic. I think got two pieces of this, 5 by 7 or 5 by 4 for $5, and I just traced it out, and I cut it out with a piece of scissors, and it looks really nice in here, very, very clean. So I recommend that if you want to have a cheap and easy way to get rid of something this ugly. And also, I would suggest that you always use a, when you're working on these radios, to use a isolation transformer. That's what I have up here, and then you won't get a shock because the chassis is hot. It's a hot chassis. And then also I put a little indication for polarity that the left side of this plug is chassis ground, and I oriented the right side is going to be for the hot side. So we always want to put the cold side of the line on the chassis ground instead of the hot side. So that's pretty much it, folks. So with that, I think we'll sign off, and appreciate you watching, and enjoy my other videos. And if you get a chance, give me a thumbs up, please. We'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye now.